Hey, I'm Felissa Rose, and you're watching Keto and Crime.
Hey everyone, welcome to Keto and Crime. Today I've got a great episode for you, one I think you'll enjoy. I am still working on my expose on the Canadian Native American schools, the ones that have been in the news. I will have that for you next week, as well as Doug's Dilemma, another Daybell novel, which I know we're all looking forward to. But today, by special request from a good friend of mine and a good friend of the channel, Miss Felicia, I will be reacting to a phone call by Miss Melanie Gibb that was recorded by her. It's been circulating. I thought we'd listen to it together and kind of critique it together. That being said, I do officially have a sponsored video here. Yes, I know you've probably noticed my new sign here in the background. This was done for me by a friend of the channel, Spruce 3D Tech. He was kind enough to do this for me. This is 3D printing at its finest. It does light up. It has a remote. It is super awesome, and I thought I would show this to you today. He is kind enough to be sponsoring the next few videos, and so give him some love. I'm going to put his website down below if you have some 3D printing needs. Very, very economical shipping and all. This sign would have been just $100, so around $100. It's not expensive at all. He does a great job. He's very methodical on matching your colors. So if you have a business or if you just want a nice sign for a room as a showpiece, check out Spruce 3D Tech, and I'm going to put his information down in the description. Please check him out. And with that being said, let's get into Melanie Gibb and her phone call here on Keto and Crime. Hey everyone, let's get into this. We are going to listen to bits and pieces of it. We're not going to listen to the whole thing. The whole thing is almost an hour. But if you want to listen to the whole thing uninterrupted, and I highly recommend you do that, go over to True Crime Underground and give them some love. Give them a listen, a like, a comment, and a subscribe, because we've got to support our fellow YouTube creators. But with that being said, let's get into this Melanie Gibb phone call. From what I understand, this is my first time hearing it. From what I understand, it's gonna make me mad, but I'm interested to hear what Melanie Gibb really thought, unfettered, without her thinking that police were listening in. So let's delve in, shall we?
And months for them to figure out how to come up with a plan, basically. And I guess it comes down to it is she's frustrated him to every level. She's left. She says she puts it in her mind like, oh, look how he's behaving. He's so different now. He's this and that and this and that. Well, Charles is upset because she just tried to destroy his life. She told him he was out of town when she found out, and he was in another state. And when she flew back home, she took his truck and hid it, took all the keys and took them from him, emptied out.
That somehow does not surprise me that Lori would do that.
Oh my goodness.
And I was like, hey, do you think that's a bit extreme? Like, are you sure you're supposed to do that? She goes, Melanie, the Spirit's telling me exactly what I'm supposed to do. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Because the Spirit of God wants you to drive people insane within an inch of their life.
She tells him, which is stupid. She says, I'm going to destroy you. She's like, you are not Charles anymore. You are Ned. I forgot his last name.
Landers.
Snyder. You're Ned Snyder, and you're not gonna. You are. You know, I am. She told him. I think she told him prior to this, but she was translated. She was married to Moroni before.
Oh my gosh.
Already expelled. So yeah, she's already telling him this stuff, which is not smart.
Moroni had very low standards if Lori was married to him before. That's all I'm saying. But anyway.
My goodness.
And yeah, not smart. She should have kept that information to herself. So he gets me to come over to his house. But he breaks into the house, and she's picking up the kids. He steals his key. It's a lot of drama in that. But anyway, he he says to me, and I thought it was Lori, but he had her cell phone, so he was trying to get me to come over. So I talked to him, so it freaked me out. And I get there, and it's him, and I'm like, oh my gosh. So I talked to him, and he's like, Melanie, Lori's crazy. Like, she thinks that I'm this guy named Ned, and that she's trying to destroy my life. And I'm like, I just don't know what to say.
Oh my goodness.
Like,
a lot of people probably say, why didn't Charles Vallow flee when Lori was calling him Ned and saying that he was, well, first of all, he had been dealing, if you saw my video with the L Mom, she talked a lot about her mother, which had the same kind of delusions as Lori. I lived with an overly religious zealot of a mother who would beat me within an inch of my life, abuse me, emotionally abuse me, all while telling me that God told her to. I remember one time I got one of the worst beatings I'd ever had with a belt, and she told me that it was God telling her to punish me. So what I'm saying here is that this kind of, whatever you want to call it, is kind of common. And if he's used to it, if he has been married to her or has been in love with her, which I'm sure you don't just marry someone under most cases unless you have some feeling for them. But it's pretty common. And so you just get used to it, and the crazy cycles up, the crazy cycles down, and I'm sure that was the mindset that Charles was in, and that's probably why he didn't get as far away from her as possible. Plus, also, she had his kids. I mean, he loved Tylee, even though Tylee was not his biological daughter by all accounts. He was a great father to her, and he was definitely loved his son JJ, who was as we know, his biological great nephew, but grandnephew, but still, he loved him. He was not going to go that far from his kids, so that's the reason he didn't flee far from her. Plus, his job, his life, everything was in Arizona, so he probably didn't think he needed to flee that far away. Come to find out, he indeed did, but he didn't know that at the time, so that's the reason I'm saying that.
Freaking out, yeah, because I think my friends are good. She's seen Jesus, I'm really believing that she really saw these things,
Right.
And
then you're a fool, Melanie.
And she stuck on me like Velcro. She was such a good friend to me, you know what I mean? Like, she was close to me.
Right.
And so
crazy
is
as crazy does. They know their own.
Me, and he was crying, and I was like, I look back now and go, oh my gosh. Anyway, so basically she sets it up where he sets it up. He's going to come into town, when he passes away, and they have a shoot down, and he dies, and out of self-defense, but the police officer told me that it was not the guy that Alex that shot him, he didn't even really get hit that hard in the head. So
that guy, Alex. Melanie's talking as if she doesn't even know who Alex Cox is. She just said that Lori stuck to her like Velcro. You don't think she didn't know about her number one bodyguard, Alex, who had this unnatural love for his sister? You don't think she didn't know Alex, that guy? So she's trying to distance herself, obviously, from this. She knows more than she's letting on.
And Alex, bless his heart, who passed away, he just thought he was doing a favor to his sister. He didn't really care so much, about Charles or this or that, but he just thought he was helping her.
Did she ask him to kill him?
Well, to self-defense, yes. Well, because they planned it. I mean, like, so she knew that Charles was coming to town, and then she invited Alex over that night to spend the night to protect her. She said they're going to kill her. She told me they're going to come and try to kill her.
Oh my goodness.
I said, well, why?
Melanie, why didn't you call the cops and let them know what was going on? Even if it was just in the form of reporting a potential domestic situation. Why didn't you call? Especially if there's children involved. Yeah, this is making me kind of mad.
I said, well, why are they going to try to kill you? And she says, well, because I have a $3 million policy on my head, and my brother and my husband and my nephew are all zombies now, and they all want me dead.
Oh my goodness.
Oh yeah, it gets crazy. So anyway, they have the shoot down and everything. And she grabs his phone, and they fight over that. And then Tylee, her daughter, picks up the bat and tries to defend herself or hit him or whatever. She doesn't like him anyway, and she doesn't like anybody. And so,
No, I don't think Tylee didn't like anybody. I don't think she liked you because she knew you were just like her mom. Crazy bitch. So, yeah. Now, from all accounts, I think Charles and Tylee, from what I've read, had a very good relationship. I don't think she would have grabbed a bat to just beat down her father or her stepfather without there being some provocation. And do I think there was provocation? No. I think all of that was by virtue of Mr. Alex Cox and Miss Lori Vallow. Um, Melanie, you're cold. You're cold. When I read your book, I got the feeling you're just a cold hearted, I can't even think of a word. Cold-hearted. I don't think you like anybody. I don't think you care about anybody but yourself. You only glopped on to Lori and them because you thought there was some glory in it for you and David Warwick, who's just as crazy as Chad. He's Chad chins too. But anyway, ugh,
anyway, they shoot him. And so I talked to the police officer. He goes, she was really happy for somebody that just had her husband shot dead. She was
yeah,
like,
you think
"Oh, how are you?" Da da da. She's real positive and upbeat.
it was planned.
And I was like, "Oh,
You
that's
just
not
said it was
normal.
planned.
Just somebody that gets blown away in your front room."
Yeah, exactly.
And I mean, that would jump.
Anybody else get the feeling that Melanie thinks she's going to profit off this, that she's going to make millions of dollars? I wonder how much they had to pay her to do that Lifetime movie. That would be interesting for me to know how much they had to pay to use Melanie Gibb's likeness in that movie because they don't, that's not free. I'm sure she's made a pretty penny off this. And I really wish, because there's a lot of crimes, especially like the O.J. Simpson trial, there's an embargo where he cannot, injunction where he cannot profit off that case. So I really hope they do something like that to Melanie Gibb, to Zalima, to Jason Mao, to anybody else, David Warwick, anybody else that's still kicking that is linked to this case. I really hope that they do that.
Traumatized me. But anyway, so she's told to move up to Rexburg. The Lord tells her, move up to Rexburg now. She takes Tylee and JJ with her. Tylee and JJ are up there. I know she's up there with both of them because I can hear them on the phone in the background while she's packing and moving in. And then she tells me, I don't know, within a week or two that Tylee is now at BYU. He's up there. She's up there at school.
Huh.
So I go up to visit her, and I see that Tylee is not there, and I said, hey, Tylee's, I mentioned again, like, Tylee went to BYU, and she goes, yeah, but she gave me this really creepy look.
Oh.
Yeah, it was creepy. It was like, yes, she's dead, really, and, that kind of look.
Yeah.
Like, I think, yeah, almost that kind of look, but then I didn't know what to think about it at the time. I was like, why do I feel creepy when she looks at me?
Did she just say that Lori admitted that Tylee was dead? Did I hear that right? Oh my God.
Me like that,
Yeah.
And so anyway, then she tells me I get there September 23rd weekend, and JJ's missing. No, JJ's not missing. Sorry, JJ's there, and she tells me he's a zombie now,
Oh my goodness.
and so was Tylee.
Oh
And so,
no.
Okay, so that's
so
what it
people that are
was.
zombies,
Zombie.
they don't end up staying alive. But you've probably seen the pattern here.
Right.
And so anyway, so I say, okay. She says, I'm just going to give him back to Kay, the grandmother. And I said, well, that sounds like a good idea. Then you guys can move on with your missions. Just tell her to take Kay. You think she'll take JJ? I mean, he's a lot of work. Do you think she'll take, no, yeah, I'm hoping so. I'll just have to make something up. I said, well, tell her you're sick or something and that you just have some illness and that you're not able to watch after him. So, she said, hey, he's a handful. And so, and plus it's not her kid anyway, right? And so.
It's not her kid because she adopted him, right?
Right, she adopted him from Kay's family.
Oh, she did.
Adopted children are your children, you sick jerk. Adopted children are your children. There's somewhere out there's some adopted child hearing that's going, oh my God. No, adopted children are your children. You choose to take them in. They're not forced upon you. So yes, she's Lori's child. That just shows how cold-hearted Melanie Gibb is.
Yeah.
Oh.
As a baby. She had him as a baby. Yeah, he was a drug baby, and so they adopted him as a baby. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And she was a really good mom to him. She was very patient with him and very loving.
More patient than you were with your own biological children.
Yeah, she was hands down. She was a great mom, patient, very patient with that kid. And so anyway, so she told me, she's like, yeah, JJ is at grandma's house. Yeah, she went. So after I left, and I saw JJ right before I left, and she said within a week or so, that he had gone to Kay's house, and that that's where he was. So then Tammy dies, and then she's in Hawaii when it happens, and I call her in Hawaii, and I said, hey, guess what? Tammy just died. Do you know this? And she goes, no, I haven't heard it yet. And and I said, well, what happened? What happened to Tammy? And she goes, well, she was a zombie 2 weeks before she died. I was like, really? She goes, yeah, she was starting to question our relationship. She was wondering if he was having an affair. I said, oh.
Oh, you mean acting like any normal wife would act if her husband's spending a lot of time with... Oh my God, so normal behavior makes you a zombie. Normal, non-psychotic, I'm queen goddess of the universe behavior makes you a zombie. Okay. Melanie, you're as much as fault to this as Lori is. You may not have done the deed, but you were complacent and oh.
And so, and I said, well, how did she die? She goes, well, we just had to do what we could to take her out of her spirit, something like that. And I was like, okay. So I'm thinking she said a prayer and her spirit went home. That's what I'm thinking, right? And so, like, maybe she did some kind of
horse shit. You knew exactly what she meant. How did Charles end up dead? They tried to kill Brandon, and now, no, you knew exactly what she meant. Oh my God, y'all. Oh my God.
of like blessing or something, like people can do that, I guess. I don't know. And so anyway, then this is where it all changes for me.
This is where you realize you might get caught.
Okay. Okay, no, it's okay.
Put your seatbelt on.
Okay.
And so then I get a call from Chad 2 days before Thanksgiving. Hey, Melanie, Rexburg Police is going to call you. Don't answer. And I went, what? And my stomach just dropped,
Oh, man.
This is where she realizes she's in deep. And just is admitting to her realizing she knows she's in deep. And that's why she suddenly became so talky-talky with law enforcement, because she was only fearing for herself. She didn't care about those children. She didn't care about Tammy, Brandon, Charles, anybody else associated with this, because she thought that they were going to be these mini celebrities, these mini royalty, whatever their perception of themselves were. She didn't care about anyone else that was hurt by these crazy clown town posse. And she only got upset when she realized, I could go to jail. Oh, this woman is unbelievable.
And I said, what happened? Well, the police are over at JJ at Lori's house, and they're looking for JJ. And she told them that JJ was with you. And I went, what?
Oh, no.
And I'm like, well, I thought JJ was at Grandma's house. He's not there, is he? And he's like, no, he's not. I'm like, what? And I don't know. Honestly, I did not know what to think at this time. I was so shocked. And just like my whole spirit was like, what happened? I was freaking out inside. And then I get a phone call. You knew exactly what
your spirit was saying.
And then Lori calls me. And she's like, oh, no, everything's fine. I just told the police with you and that you're going to take them down to Arizona. And I'm like, why? Like, what happened? And she's like, well, JJ was, we thought that JJ was going to get kidnapped by Kay, and so we're protecting him, and which is a lie. And
Okay, I'm done. I can't listen to any more of this. This is only about 10 minutes of the call, which is exactly 52 minutes and 23 seconds. I highly recommend you go over and listen to the rest of it, but I'm so hot right now. I swear. This is proof positive that Melanie Gibb has been concealing what she knew, in my opinion. And if this is admitted into evidence, which it should be, in my opinion, she is, unless she signed some immunity deal, she is absolutely 100% complicit in the deaths of these people. And this is an atrocity. She obviously has no empathy, no sympathy. Most apathetic person I've ever encountered. I should have known, I knew that after reading her book, but she is just apathetic to the max. And I think this, just 10 minutes of this phone call proves it to me. So, what do you think down below? And with that being said, please go on over to True Crime Underground and listen to the rest of this call. Come back and tell me what you think. But I think this just, I used to say, okay, I think she's guilty of maybe not acting soon enough. No, now I 100% think she's complacent. And if there's not an immunity deal, I think the police ought to look into this, because this is, yeah. And with that being said, I'll be back with you very, very soon with another true crime video. And until next time, Keto and Crime.